Kumusta ka mo? Hi, it's Viktoria Vox. Childbirth is a miracle. It is such a joyous occasion. When you think of people giving birth, there's a signature photo in our heads where the mother is holding her child for the first time and she's smiling, happy, fulfilled. And when you scroll even further, you read lengthy captions of how miraculous it was, how the instant connection is real, and how all of a sudden their lives change. They package childbirth as an instant love, as magic. Sa sobra ka hyped up sang magic sang childbirth, kaluya ang balon nga man ako daw wala yahaw. Daw ka-fail ko yahaw. Gusto ko gigi bala maging nanay, pero nga man amuni na batsyag ko, hindi ko guro worthy maging nanay ay. The day you welcome your baby into the world is supposed to be one of the best days of your life. What if instead of love and belongingness you've been harboring for months, all of a sudden is wiped out by the pain, exhaustion, and resentment that comes from childbirth? Does that make you a bad mother? I hope not, because the moment I woke up from my C-section, my life changed. And I wasn't sure if it was for the better. Postpartum depression is real. And I want to dedicate this video to all the mothers out there who have been through the agony, the anxiety, the judgment, the emotional, and the body shame, and at times even anger that comes with bearing a child. Bringing a life into this world and being responsible for it is such a huge task. It's beautiful and rewarding, sure, but it's also very exhausting. Imagine na, bala na budlayan ka na ganing sa 9 months mo, nakapoy ka pa, tapos ginoperahan ka pa para magawa ang bata. Wala ka pa ganing ka-recover sa operasyon mo, may iba ka na dayon nga ginaasikaso. Oo, gusto mo magkabata. Oo, kabalo ka man kung ano ang ginsudlan mo. Pero balaan nyo, iba gigi ang kapoy nga mabatsagan mo kung ara ka na. They say it's usual for women to get the baby blues right after giving birth. But not many are aware of this feeling. Just like I wasn't. You feel overwhelmed, uneasy, and not yet comfortable with your new body and new lifestyle. Some are lucky that after 1 to 2 weeks, they're okay. They get used to creating their mom routine. They've identified with motherhood and finally easing up from the blues. But for those not so lucky, when the baby blues are left untreated, the situation worsens. And that's where postpartum depression comes in. And for me, it was loud and clear. The moment I woke up from my C-section, I knew that something was off. And as much as I hoped things would get better, it just kept getting worse. And it made me feel like an awful mother. Nga man sa social media, kung mag-post gani sa mga after-birth photos, nga man do halos tanan sila, do kasadya yahaw. Tanan gahambal nga, it's the greatest feeling in the world. Halos tanan may ara nga instant love and connection sa ilang mga newborn. Kung amo na ang normal, tinga man ako ya hindi amo na yahaw. Am I a bad mother? Is there something wrong with me? These are the first questions I ask myself about feeling something I thought I shouldn't have. Kung normal, gid man nga man do, ako lang nakabatsyag sinihaw. Kag abi ko, gapanibag-o lang ko guro, kay basi makasanayan ko man, pero hindi eh. When I got home, it still hasn't sunken into me. I did chores to get away from my own child. Hambal ang doktor, kinalan ko lang kuno kahuway. Pero sa tuod lang gidi hindi ko kaya nga mabilin ko upod sang bata ko I felt guilt and resentment. And I felt lost even. Was I being unreasonable? Nga man, muni na batsagan ko yahaw. Hambal nila ang first few weeks or even months ko no. Amo na ang maband gina kamo bala sang imo nga bata. But my experience was totally the opposite. Taking care of my child felt like a chore. I would breastfeed him and then pass him again to my husband. I felt like I was just food to my child and not a mother. I didn't know what I felt, and I certainly didn't know why I felt what I felt. All I knew was that I was dissatisfied with the life I had at that time. I didn't even want to touch my own child. When I see him sleeping on my chest or beside me, I never once thought that I was so in love with him or that I would do anything for him. He was literally A small human who was laying beside me, and that was that. If anything, what I thought of was how troublesome his waking up can be. Kinalanan ko pa siya i-breastfeed. Kaya ko pa ihan. Nakapoy, naging kuya bala. Wala ako kabalo kung may mahatag pa ko. Ginapaminsar ko sa dito. Pwede sa botelya ka nalang magdede. My nipples need a break, and I just want to sleep. And that experience was so terrifying to me. I felt like the world's worst mom. To make things worse, I held on to that feeling for months. I was not aware that I had postpartum depression until later on. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today. To let anyone who's watching know that if you've ever felt this, no, that doesn't make you a bad mom. It doesn't mean you're crazy. It doesn't mean you're such a terrible person. All it means is that you need help. It's time we told our stories and talk about this so that we can finally destigmatize what it means to be a mother going through postpartum depression. It's time we made other moms feel seen, heard, understood, and even validated. Because postpartum depression isn't your fault. It's a very common childbirth complication that is about 15% of women who get it. It's time we understood why we feel what we feel. Postpartum depression, or PPD, is a mood disorder caused by the hormonal changes a woman experiences through her pregnancy and childbirth. It's an effect of all the changes that goes on with our body. And to top that off with sleepless nights, a healing wound from surgery, and exhaustion from the last 9 months and counting. So yes, you have every right to feel exhausted. If it happens to 15% of women, then why don't we see a lot of it? Importante nga istoryahan tani kay ang postpartum depression can get a lot worse without treatment. Sometimes your sobbing can get into crying and can turn into hallucination and even violence. The most extreme end of the spectrum is called postpartum psychosis. If it sounds scary to you now, can you just imagine how scary it is to have to go through this alone? Yes, I understand that you might feel scared. Pero mas kaladlukan nga, damo sa aton nagakadamo manigali, pero wala ta kabalo kung ano obrahon kay wala ta kinaistoryahan gid. Kay damo man sa aton, wala kabalo sang symptoms sang PPD. Pero yung wala sa ako na, abi ko, hindi ko mayong nanay. Kung kisa naman, maskin balaan ta, nabudlayan ta nga balon, or mangayo sang bulig, o na minon. We feel shame, disgust, judgment. Being someone who already has to go through and experienced depression, even without my child, going through PPD felt like an all-time low. And I didn't overcome it overnight. It took time, comfort, and validation. A lot of time, a lot of comfort, and definitely a lot of validation. So if you're a mom-to-be, it doesn't mean that you're gonna get it as well. But it is common, and you will recover from this. If you know someone who has just given birth, please support them through the journey. And if you are experiencing any of the symptoms right now, be patient with yourself. You are a human, and nobody expects you to be 100% recovered or in perfect condition after 9 months of letting another life grow in you, plus hours of labor. I personally had to go through 23 hours of labor, 23 hours of no sleep, and so much pain. After being opened up to let a life into this world, you can be tired, you can be emotional, you can be sad. Your feelings are valid, and healing and bouncing forward takes time, but you will get there. Just be patient. Seek counsel. I cannot reiterate enough how important it is to have professional counsel to help you understand the science of whatever you're going through. I self-diagnosed, which I do not recommend, because had I spoken to a professional sooner, then I would have understood my situation better and sooner too. Ask for help. Consult your doctor. Surround yourself with your support system. You've already been through enough. Having to deal with people who invalidate your experiences should not hold space in your life. I literally had to cut off family members who judged and shamed my depression. Instead, surround yourself with people who will hold you up through these hard times. People who will show you how to love your newborn, but at the same time, how to accept and love yourself. This is how I move past my resentment. My partner led by example, not by force or comparison, and it did really help a lot. He also took care of me and my mental health. Because of that, I first learned how to accept myself, accept my emotions, accept my feeling, accept that this is normal, that I am not alone. I had to learn to love myself again in order to love another human being. PPD is no joke, and it is too important that we are all educated about it, because either we will go through it, the women in our lives, our friends, or our loved ones will. And when that happens, I really hope, we can be a positive force that reminds them to be patient, seek professional counsel, and surround themselves with a solid support system. This is the 27th episode of the Makeup Therapy series. I hope if you liked it too, please hit the like, the share, comment your thoughts down below, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye!